Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a little random video in the real world. I just found my old camera, so I thought I'd just show you a bit around this city, the fair city of Chester. Chester is the city, apparently, that has the most complete set of walls in Britain, so I'm going to walk around, show you some cool things. Unfortunately, some repair work, so we can't go on all of it. Admittedly, that sign does say that the repairs are going to finish October 2016. I do often have a buffer, but not that much. So let's go, and I'll try and show you some things around this fair city. Here on the walls we see the King Charles Tower, or Phoenix Tower. It's called the King Charles Tower because during the English Civil Wars, King Charles stood on here to see the Battle of Rowton Moor, where the Royalists were defeated, and he then fled the city. If you don't believe me, it's there, it's written there. You can also see a sculpture of a phoenix just above that sign. It's the second name of this tower. It's the Phoenix Tower for that reason. It was used for various different meetings kind of later on. So the Phoenix Tower, King Charles Tower. We can also see the canal, probably built in the 18th century because it's a canal, and we might be walking on that a bit later. Here we have Chester Cathedral and some rather loud seagulls behind me. Chester Cathedral, dedicated to St. Werburgh, an Anglo-Saxon princess who then became an abbess of an abbey, I would assume, because that's what abbess is. Never mind. One of the few kind of cathedrals or shrines that are kind of allowed to remain to an Anglo-Saxon saint after the Norman conquest. Here, quite a few people came from the Abbey of Ely, E-L-Y, here, I think, in the place where St. Anselm, the first or second Norman Archbishop of Canterbury, came here after that, and probably many other interesting facts about this cathedral. I can't remember any others. Alright, moving on. Here we kind of see the main kind of shopping street of Chester. You might be able to see that kind of close up we've got kind of normal-ish buildings that kind of go all the way up, but as we look further down, I'll see if I can see it. Oh, you can't really see it here. But as you can see further down, you can see some buildings kind of sticking out. The reason for that is that they are separate buildings, essentially, on top and bottom. Don't know if you can hear that van, but I thought I'd pause. They are the Rows of Chester, and I think, they are the Rows of Chester, and I think I will probably show them to you a little bit later, and I'll come off the walls and show them from a different angle where they're slightly more visible, if I remember to actually look at the screen. I'll be back just a moment looking at this gate we're on right now. Okay, when I said the gate from a different angle, I kind of lied. Here is the Eastgate clock. We were just underneath that, and it's called the Eastgate clock because it is the clock on the gate to the east of the city. We're imaginative here in Britain. And it was built in 1897, as you can see by the 1897 written on the clock face. And it was done as the kind of diamond jubilee of Queen Victoria. And yes, finished in 1899, it says on the other kind of other side as I was walking up. It's a very pretty clock. In fact, I'm standing currently on a spot that says the perfect photo spot. If I can zoom in and actually see it. The perfect photo spot. Because it's one of the big tourist attractions to Chester, is this clock. A lot of people come here and get pictures taken with it. And we'll move on and show you some more of the walls. Here we see a loud bus. But the bus is currently going underneath Newgate. It's called Newgate because at the time of its construction it was the newest gate. It was built on the site of another gate that was called Newgate, because at the time of its construction it was the newest gate. I can't remember what the name of the gate that one was built on, but it wasn't Newgate, because I would remember that one. To differentiate the two gates, the second one is now called Old Newgate, because we're a bit silly in Britain at times. And so obviously we've got a kind of road through there, but we are going to be going up there and doing some filming from Newgate. Okay then, take two at this attempt at recording. I just had a horde of American tourists rise up on a tour around the walls, and I just wanted to move out of the way, so I stopped filming. So now let's have a go at refilming what we were talking about. Oh, you can see them, I think they're over there, just retreating into the background. I managed to scare them off with my draconic breath. Or I let them finish, one of those two. I was standing over there when I filmed Newgate, and I actually looked at there is a sign on this gate that says that the original gate was called Wolfgate, from I think probably one of the I guess one of the Saxons. But there, below where I was standing, is a little bit of foundation from the original Roman wall. That is the corner. The walls turned west from there. We're going to continue going south along the medieval route. However, another interesting point is the amphitheatre over here. Now, this amphitheatre is used by some to point out that Emperor Agricola, or was he only a general? He may have been an emperor, I can't remember. He may have wanted to make the City of Legions, as Chester or Dewa was, and make it into the capital of Britannia as a central administrative city. The amphitheatre is one of the biggest in Britain. That's kind of the argument for that. And really, if you think about it, Chester, if you look at a map, is very central if you include going out to Ireland. And although it doesn't now, it did share one of the benefits of London, which was it had a port, and we will be getting to that later. But next on this, we're actually going to be leaving the walls. I'm going to be showing you something a little different. Alright, the next stop, and when I said something completely different, I meant the walls themselves. You may be able to make out a slight difference in kind of texture, as it were, of the walls. Let me just zoom in a little bit. You can see that the walls on the left here look kind of slightly less worn and weathered, and it goes on for a little bit over here until we get again to the same thing, kind of different sized stones, and the ones to the left here are more worn. And the reason is that this kind of middle section is newer than the surrounding section, and the reason for that is this is where the parliamentarians assaulted Chester. They blew a hole here, they breached it, and King Charles had already fled, but they managed to take the city of Chester. And here is a little kind of see-through thing, kind of in the park I was in, that kind of lines up with the walls and kind of shows you what it might have looked like with all the kind of damage and the breach. Now, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to be doing next, because there's children over there. Terrifying children. I'll meander around and see what I can see next. Here we have what is called Handbridge. It's on the site of the oldest bridge across the Dee. Very important position, considering that is the key direction towards Wales, who early on, of course, were a separate nation, and would well send raiders, very dangerous herds of attack sheep. Now, of course, leading to that, we have Bridge Street, named because it's the street to the bridge, and you can just see up here kind of the top of the gate, which, as it's guarding the bridge, is called Bridgegate. Boy, we're an imaginative lot here in Britain. We're going to go a little bit further, we're going to go down there, but I think then we will be getting off the walls and going up to the rows, I think, show you another angle on those fellows. Okay, so as I mentioned before, Chester is the city in Britain with the most complete set of walls. Now, as you can see, the walls have kind of petered out at this point. They don't really, well, they're not here. And the reason for that is because of this building. It used to be a council building. It's now part of the University of Chester. Over here in the distance, and not that very far in the distance, kind of behind the building, you can see another set of the kind of walls restarting. And so this is the only section of walls that's actually missing. Some of the parts you can argue about, but I'd argue that this is the only section where the walls, they're not around anymore. So very complete, very good. Hooray for history. Alright, so here we are at the Cross and Victoria, looking back down to Eastgate Clock over there. And here we have the rows, and as you can see there's a level above the shops. This was added kind of, I think, in medieval times, so there would be kind of more room. So we've got the shops on the bottom level, sometimes on ground floor, sometimes down to the crypts, and then we've got some on the first floor. Yes, being British. So there's rows all the way down this street, well, not all the way. They were stopped by some kind of big noblemen who wanted kind of more space for their homes, so wanted to go up a level. And continue up here and down this street. And all kinds of different shops around. There's bookshops, which I'm deliberately not looking at, otherwise I'll be tempted to go and buy something. But we're going to go up and I'll show you what it looks like from one of these rows. Alright, so I'm on one of the rows going down Bridge Street. And as you can see, there's all kinds of different rows. Probably a better angle up here. As you can see, the two levels of shops. In 2011, I think, it was proposed to put the Chester Rows on a proposal list to put towards the World Heritage status. Unfortunately, they were taken off the long list when the short list was published, which is kind of sad because, as far as I am aware, there isn't another one like this in Britain for sure, and I'm not sure there's another one like this in Europe. And I think if there's not another one like this in Europe, probably not in the world. So these are rather unique, but there's not really much to compare this to. These are kind of their own little thing, and it would be sad if that's not recognised. Maybe it's just because I live around here. Gasp! Spoilers. Edit that out. Okay, here we are at the racecourse. We've theoretically just rejoined the walls, and we're going to walk on that way. But I just wanted to point out to you this racecourse. You see, here on the racecourse, this used to be the Dee. This used to be where the River Dee went all the way through. In fact, you can see just there in the car park, those bits of rubble kind of used as almost like a foundation-y type thing. That used to be the Roman quay side coming down to the river. I'm not even sure if you can see the river from this space, but you can see a bridge over there, or I can. Let's zoom in. You can see a bridge over that way with the arches, I think. Yes, about. And that's bridging the River Dee that used to come all the way over here. It's silted up this area, and now there's a racecourse that I'm not really interested in because I don't really follow that. But onwards, I suppose, that way, following the walls. So delightfully, we've had to miss another bit of the walls out. As you can see, probably if I meander down this way, quite a bit of scaffolding down there. And that's done, more repairs are needed here at Watergate. This gate was called Watergate due to the fact that down there at the gate, during medieval times, the river came, and so they had a quay there. Boats would pull in, merchants would get the goods, and would move on. Now while I'm here, let's point out a slight difference to other places. In other places, the road has been below the wall. Here, the road is next to it. Some people say that this means that this wall shouldn't count, or this part, but I think it does because, there's a wall right here, even though the road is right next to it. I think we're going to push on a little, well, we're going to try and go all the way around, but But I think the next time is going to be just a little bit further on, not that far. As you can see, there are trains. As you could have seen if I were in a better position, the train tracks come all the way through the walls. In fact, if I turn around and look at the other side, you can see the kind of metal underneath covering as the kind of railway and the rail tracks go underneath. This was done by the Victorians. Hooray for Victorians, who decided that kind of the necessities of the time, the railway, was more important than the historical significance of the walls. Not entirely sure which side of the debate I fall on for that. However, two kind of bits of the historical monument that are preserved are over here, and there's people coming, so I don't want to sound too weird, so I'm going to stop and record once, and get a bit closer and record once they're past. So here we are, the people have passed, and here are the still remaining historical thingamabobs, towers, them's the things. So this one first, let's look at them kind of in order of construction. Here is, I think it's something like Bonavaldisthorn's tower, set up by Aefhild, Anglo-Saxon princess, who set this up to defend Chester and the surrounding area, but particularly this is where the Dee came. Now, as it's silted up through time, as you can see, there's not much of the river around, but as that kind of silted up and stopped kind of needing this tower for the defense of the ships, they then built the water tower over there, which was at the time sticking out into the Dee. There's a road behind it now, so it doesn't stick into the Dee anymore, but it was used to defend the ships, and actually it was also used to, as the river silted up more and more, and Watergate was silted up, as well as the original Roman quay, this was used for the ships to dock at, for the goods to be brought in. And so those are these towers as we progress a little bit further round, cross the railway again, and onwards. Here we see something called Pemberton's Parlour, set up by a bloke called Pemberton, or certainly named after him. He was in charge of the upkeep, or was one of the people in charge of the upkeep of the walls in 1700-something, according to a plaque up there. Not sure if you can read it, it's barely legible for me. The walls were turned from a defensive structure into a nice little walk, I think around that time, so it's the Georgians' fault. I always thought it was the Victorians, because why not? Let's blame them for everything. So we can see down here the canal. Again, we're about to rejoin it. When we run out of walls, I might walk a bit along the canal, see if there's anything interesting to film for you guys. But also note an Assassin's Creed viewpoint. Just saying. Gonna walk a little bit further on. I think there's a few more things before we run out of walls. And we'll see what we see. Here we're on Morgan's Mount, a little tower thing on the walls. It's bigger than the other towers, the other one's quite small. Here's quite a bit of room. It's called Morgan's Mount because during the Civil War, apparently, according to that sign, Captain Morgan led the artillery during the English Civil War. Earthworks were built around here, the artillery was manned around here, and he stood on this tower to defend, order the defences against the parliamentarian forces. There you can see one of the guns, the big gun that was destroyed. This isn't the actual one, this is a sculpture. Oops. This is a sculpture to kind of commemorate the destruction of that cannon. Now, if you're interested in the Civil War, we're about to have another one. Or at least it feels like it. I've come over that concrete gate, bridge, monstrosity, one of those, however many I said. I don't think it has a name. which is rather kind of annoying. I like having names for things. We could call it Bypass Gate, because the bypass goes under it, or we could call it Concrete Gate, because it's a concrete gate. Here we have the canal again. According to the sign, it was made in the 1770s. Makes sense with the Industrial Revolution happening around that time. I did say 18th century. Unfortunately, this is the end of the walls, or at least as far as I can go. There's a bit more space there, but as you can see, way in the background, it's a little bit of a tent and scaffolding. That's for the repairs being done to the North Gate steps. So they've blocked off this whole area, I think because there isn't another way down except right here. However, we're going to join the canal. If I see something interesting along the canal, you can join me there. Alright, if this is it, if this is the last bit I record, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for watching. Alright, so here we are by the canal. Now, here we can see part of the reason why the walls are the colour they are, which is that there's a lot of red sandstone around. Around this whole area there's a lot of red sandstone, and so here we have the red sandstone. You can see some of the chisel marks where this was dug out. This was probably just dug out for the canal, I would suspect, rather than for the walls, but there's a lot of red sandstone around in the area. And you can see up there Northgate, where we started at the beginning of this video. There's the bridge that was coming into Northgate. So yeah, we've actually done a full circuit, not all along the walls. I've missed a few bits anyway, due to the repairs, but also popping up to the rows for you guys. So there's the full circuit, and as I said, if there's anything else interesting, I'll go and get it for you, and I'll bring you back for the recording. Now, as you can see, this canal is still being used. There's lots of kind of boats around using it. Sometimes they're slightly more relaxed though than maybe the industrial ways they were used to be used for. And as we can see, there is a boat up ahead that's coming along. Let's follow it. Let's just see what I don't know. I find this interesting. There are also ducks on the canal, and ducklings. They're so cute. Alright, so here we are at this train station. So I'm going to be heading home now. You'll not be joining me with the camera. I won't be showing you where I live. I think this is enough information about me for one video. I'm sure it's only going to be one video. Yeah, I'll find out in editing. So yes, here we are. Chester Station, the end of our little meander through the city. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for watching.